March meeting of the Cherokee Village City Commission to order. Roll call, please, Betsy.
Ron Page. Here. Dave Evil.
Here.
Susan Jett. Here. Joe Kaiser.
Here.
Tony Stallsnet. Absent.
I'd like to have a moment of silence, please. All of the fallen, and those of us that are breathing. Okay, with that, I would like an approval for the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as it's presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented and a second by Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, with that, we are open to property owners' discussions for 3 minutes. Oh, minutes? Okay, sorry. Approval, I know. Approval of the minutes from last month. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Any changes? Okay, I need a
Make a
motion.
motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made by Ron, second. Need a second.
Okay.
Susan seconds. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It carries. Now we can go to the property owners. 3 minutes. Please step up to the mic, tell us your name, your address, and what you were talking about.
Might have to turn that mic on yourself.
What? I can probably speak loud enough. Okay. My name is Michelle Newman. I live at 59 Triaxle Drive, right here in Cherokee Village. I just wanted to make everyone aware that despite you making some rules and regulations for the golf courses, that many people are refusing to comply with them. I'm a longtime avid golfer. My husband and I moved here almost 17 years ago so we could enjoy year-round golf, which we're doing. I know several people came together to make a list of Cherokee Village golf rules and regulations, but, and I mean a big but, nothing was mentioned about two of the biggest rules of etiquette, which are fixing ball marks and raking the sand traps. I've also noticed that many people, both young and old, do not obey the rules about keeping their golf carts away from the tee boxes and greens, which again is a huge rule of etiquette known to anyone who is a real golfer. I personally could care less about collared shirts or short skirts because the sport has become more casual over the years, and even the pros wear short skirts and not collared shirts. What does concern me is the destruction of all our golf courses by lazy people who are capable of walking those short distances to and from their cart, and those who refuse to fix their ball marks or rake the sand trap. Thereby making it more difficult for me to enjoy my round of golf. It is our own members that are doing this, and of course guests see it and follow by their poor example. Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that,
We are aware of it.
well, I don't know if there's an easy fix. I thought maybe commissioners could randomly maybe pick a day a week or a few hours and just take a cart and drive around and watch people as they're golfing and maybe remind them of these rules.
What course do you live on? What course do you go
The
on?
South Golf Course.
I frequent the north, so a lot of people know me here.
Well, when you have to fix 10 ball marks every time you approach a green, it's pretty sad.
I know, we do it here too. The only way we can do it is if we had marshals, and right now our budget does not have money for
I
marshals.
understand that. Would you not think that the members would have more consideration for their beautiful golf course? And it's not just the not. And the greens are going between the green and the sand trim. I don't know. I know
Would you, Michelle,
Michelle Dugan.
would you tell me your last name again?
DGGAN.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I was Marshall Dillon for a while and tried to alleviate some of that for about 2 months and was successful to a degree if I caught them on the south course, specifically over by the restroom.
Anybody else would like to address us?
Is there a volunteer program for, to be a marshal and everything, or is it?
No? I don't know what kind of weight we'd have to pull with that. That's something we'd have to look into, right, Betsy? Anybody else want to comment? Okay, let's move on. Old business. Special Planning Committee update. Let's see Mr. Reason here. No. Anyway, I talked with Mr. Regan this last week, and what I'm asking for is, this is something that Ron and I have wanted to do since we were the commissioners, was to get a committee for 5, 10, 15-year plans for us. Mr. Reagan come up with some fairly good ideas, but what we're going to ask for, and I'm hoping is I get a commissioner to volunteer for this project, and get with Betsy and people that want to volunteer, because right now we're just in the planning stages, so I have a commissioner here that would like to volunteer and spearhead this. No, Tony was doing the gas passes and all
David, I'll help you with that.
Okay.
With the situation with my mother,
that. Right.
I don't know if I'll be in Texas or if I'll be in Knoxville, because Karen's dad now has gone into assisted living and he's delusional. So I appreciate the prayers and the thoughts from so many of you people who I love in Cherokee Village, but it just makes life the most challenging I've ever had in my 70 years.
So once,
So I'll work with Steve, I'll give him a call.
yeah, once we get this up and running, we will be asking for volunteers. You got his number?
I got it. He and I did a lot of work to set to some of the original components of this. So I believe in the thought behind it. We just need to refine it and bring it to the public so that our Cherokee Village property owners and potential owners have a voice in where we're headed.
May I speak? May I speak?
Go ahead.
I was under the impression that Mr. Reagan did not want to be involved as much as he just wanted to see this to move forward. So I'm not sure, Ron, what vision it is that he's presented to you. But in today's package, one of the things that I put in your package is going to be another Holiday Island thing. You know, as we talk about the community growing and the things that we need to be looking forward to, Holiday Island, 2 years ago, hired a contractor, a third-party company to come in and do an evaluation of their amenities. You know, they're a 27-hole golf course where we have 2 18-hole golf courses, but they spoke very clearly about the areas that needed improvement, how to bring things up to the standards of today, even down to what salary should be for the employees that work in the golf courses. You know, it's very informational, and I think as we look at the big picture, you know, where there's some acreage of land that surrounds the Omaha Center that's up for sale. I know there's 11 acres on the right-hand side of the road, right as you're pulling up to the Omaha Center. There's other land on the other side of the road and across the road there. You know, if expansion and planning is something that we're looking into, I think think that that's what we need. We need a group of maybe a real estate firm that can look and help us find that property or that land that would be the best to expand. And then we look into some of these ideas. And I think that's what we need to build our group from. You want to go to your property owners and get their opinions and get their input and their experience and knowledge, then I think that's what we need to ask for. We're looking for people that can help in those areas.
Right.
So I see Dan saw on
Yeah.
and Dan expressed an interest in being a part of it, so I don't know how much time you've got to be involved, but like, it needs to be more people than live in Cherokee Village.
Right.
And I believe that if we get a full spectrum of business people that think further than our little acreage, that we would be way ahead of them.
Well, and two, I would think, Susan, that you or Tony would make the most sense because y'all got 4 years ahead of you as SID members, where Ron and David and Joe are on their final 2, and this will be something that will be far more than a 4-year plan. It may take 4 years before ground is broken, but I think that having someone that can put 4 years into helping keep that group together would make the most sense. I'm not trying to volunteer you or Tony, but I do think that would make sense to have one of you 2 commissioners, or both of you, kind of spearhead that going forward. That's just my opinion.
You're one volunteer.
Well,
I don't care to hell, but like Betsy was saying, it's, we're here, not quite 2 years, I'm counting the months down. So we're 1 year and 10.5 months. And,
well, and
So,
we have, I mean, you can look at things I do, and I make a real good Indian, but I can sure make stuff happen with a group. So yeah, and Tony and I could probably work together and organize business people to come together, and this holiday out, I think is very interesting, and I see where we could lay that over a lot of stuff that's going on in Cherokee Village, so sure. And Ron, if you've got time, because you've got a lot of input, I mean, you've talked to people for years.
I love riding around, stopping and listening to people and why they're doing one thing or another, why they don't play golf, why they don't go to the lakes, why they haven't used the swimming pool. And it's a shame because the amenities are so beautiful in Cherokee Village. And I just encourage them to invite their family to come out and enjoy some of the things that are here. That's what brought us here 11, 12 years ago.
Okay.
And getting lost on the motorcycle in Cherokee Village while we were trying to find the exit.
Okay. Well, the first group of guys that was sitting back here the first day that this came up, I can reach out to them and just go from there and expand it with some of the people who've said, I really would kind of like to be a part of that and see what we can do. I mean,
So can we just push this to keep this on old business for next month and then see if in the next 30 days y'all can combine some people together?
you betcha.
Sounds good. We'll put it back on the business.
Okay, that was easy.
Capital improvement schedule, restaurants, golf course, irrigation, and paving locations. We've got some bids here.
All right, so your cover page here where I've handwritten on the top section, that's my updated quotes from Keeling, which is where we purchased our irrigation system from. And then I've got 2 installation quotes. The Eagle View was a company that Keeling recommended, and just someone that they had used before. Of course, the next one is our local company, Specialized Outdoor Services, for installation, and that's quite a healthy discount compared to the other. I think the difference really is the travel time, the amount of people it takes to get them here and get the job done. Putting people up, feeding them. Do what?
We try keeping our money local too.
There's a few ways to think about this. In our golf capital fund, We've got $160,000 cash in there. You know, we spent a little over $100,000 of that cash on our pump system for the North Course last year, and then we paid for our installation out of our operating account. I would suggest this year that we spend the $94,000 out of that capital and then do our installation out of our operations again. That's going to bring our capital down under $100,000. But that fund is built on memberships, rounds of play, and everybody that pays for a green fee, $4 goes into that account. And I think we're going to be pleasantly excited about our memberships this year because we've already seen a huge spike. So I think we can build that back up to 6 figures pretty easily. That would be my suggestion for us to be able to get this done. Here's the whole reason I'm really pushing for the irrigation as well, is these decoders. The decoders is what turns the irrigation on and talks from hole to hole. One decoder goes out, then they start going out below them. They're a couple of $1,000s a piece. When we order them, we're spending $12,000, $15,000, 3-4 times a season. In 2 years, we spent as much money on decoders as we could have bought a new irrigation system. We paid the old one off in '23. We don't owe any money, don't have any debt on it. So I think it would make sense to put this into the South Course only, take my decoders from the South Course that are still good, and let the North Course use them for replacement parts. They've told me that that will work, that will help get me through another season. And then we can see what we do next year.
Has everybody had a chance to review the list?
Yes, sir. And it seems like it's a good idea to go with this one from,
Specialized outdoor
yes,
services.
with Jeff.
So I need a motion to approve the purchase of the system through Specialized Outdoor Services.
I'll make that motion.
One motion made by Susan, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Joe, those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Just to add on to that, our pump was replaced over the weekend.
Right.
Washington Pump was able to take care of that. They fired it up today. Everything's working on that end, so we're having it in place to be able to do the next thing. So we'll be ready. This is a sooner, not later project. We will not be trying to do this in the heat of the summer. We will start this quickly.
It looks like it's working pretty well at the North Course.
For right now, it is.
We didn't have anything to do with that one, though, did we?
We did not. Paving locations. I know we talked about this in the last meeting, and we talked about holding off on it, but I think we need to make a decision and do some paving, at least one more spot in '24, if not 2. I'd love to see Omaha and this parking lot done. But if I had to choose between the 2, this parking lot would be my first choice.
This one?
This
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
It's in far worse than the Omaha.
Yes, it is.
Omaha is getting so much more traffic. Those potholes are trip hazards out there. We have more people using the facility, and it's a little scary. So, same thing here, except we're just busting up down the Chad in this parking lot. Potholes are more than potholes just all through Omaha.
So, this is the quotes they gave us, but if you do both of them at the same time with their equipment here, would they give us a break on that?
I can ask. I would ask that these are also the prices for the other vendor, not the one we used last year.
No, we're not going to use him after seeing what's been done over there.
Yep. So I'll be glad to reach out to them, get an updated quote, and have it ready for the next meeting for approval on that one.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, that's the mediation.
Yep.
Okay.
Last thing is the restaurant.
Or the dock stores.
Oh, wait a minute, I didn't put docks on here. I put South Course, paving location, and restaurants. The docks that I was asking y'all to look at are some that are You want to go back and talk docks for Omaha or Thunderbird?
Thunderbird, yes, Sequoia, until we get the dam fixed, I will go off on that.
Okay, all right. I would love and ask every single person to go by the Omaha Marina and look at the beautiful dock that Flathead Docks did for the handicap, for the ADA. It is beautiful. He did some gorgeous metal work with trees in it. It is a piece of art. It is absolutely beautiful. But it is ready to go in. He sent some pictures, and it's finally finished. You've got 38,640 for 10 additional uncovered slips at Thunderbird. Is that what you're interested in looking at?
Yeah, have all the slips been rented so far this year?
I have 2 empty slips at Omaha, but Thunderbird still has a wait list.
And we did budget this, didn't we?
These are capital improvements, so it's not in the budget. This is something you would approve to pay out
Yeah,
of
we
capital
covered this
expenses.
We should go ahead with it now, but so the best thing in our head.
That's the thing,
What do you think, Betsy? I
the
mean,
water department also.
Well, this would be something that would come out of our operating, you know, when we talk about the irrigation, there's a separate account that is only set up for the capital for the golf courses, you know, when I ask about the restaurant, it is only the retail account, it doesn't affect our warrant account that we may have money coming out of for mediation or all of these other items that are coming together, which is why I wasn't thinking about those docks. But paving comes out of that same warrant account too. So you start looking at paving 2 spots, you're looking at least 250,000. Our budget netted 800 this year in profit, so that 250 comes out of there. But is that going to be your one thing that you, if we had to do money, spend money elsewhere, that you want to spend your money on?
What do we charge for an uncovered slip?
$545 plus tax at Thunderbird.
Take us 10 years to recover. We do need more docks over there. Any comments on this? Joe?
I mean, it's a great idea. I think we could just immediately rent them out. But, you know, we have so many things on our plate right now. And I'm thinking if we could get past this April mediation thing with the waterworks, then we'll kind of know where we stand there. And then we're still on hot water, other things that are pending that could potentially cost us a ton of money. So
well,
I really want the docks. I think it would be a great idea. So yes, in my opinion, that's a win.
Well, Gary, you say, Joe, is let's put this on the back burner until April, after we've had an opportunity. Unless there's a reason that says do it now because of the cost.
And it would be past April before they could even start to it. So I hate the term, put it on back burner, but let's see where we're at with mediation and what kind of funds we will either gain or lose and move forward from there. So I would say,
but didn't Betsy just say that we've already budgeted this and it comes out of a different?
No, it's not much.
Not budgeted, so it's a capital item, it's in addition to.
Okay.
This is what we would spend with our surplus cash, these items.
Okay.
And our budget that we approved had us at an $800,000 net profit for the year. So we've got some money to spend. These would be the items that we would be doing.
I think that the parking lot here is critical.
Yes.
I think that needs to be done. If we are going to do something, I think we do that one. The docks are just sort of a icing on the cake, and we would love to have them, but I say we wait till the end of April or the first part of May, and we know where we're at.
Well, and you know, the other thing that Wayne from Flathead Docks brought up is that, we've still got white styrofoam under our Omaha Marina. He's going to have a heck of a time trying to get his new dock insulated flotation device to line that deck up for him to be able to step off and on of it safely. I mean, it may be that before we build new, we need to look at
Yes.
replacing the old stuff too.
You're right.
Okay.
That's a good point.
I'd like a motion to put this on old business for next
I'll
month.
make a motion to put it on old business.
Got a motion from Ron, you a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, those in favor?
Uh,
Motion carried. Put it on next month's agenda. Okay, restaurant.
Restaurant. I have hired a restaurant manager. Her name is Donna. In the first 6 days, she was able to put together all of our applications, all of our paperwork, draw our blueprints, everything that we needed to send to the state. The state received our paperwork on the 4th of March. That's when our 30-day window ticks. We have cleaned, we have come up with a simple menu so that we did not have to fire up the big ventilation system and the stove and the grease and all those things. But I believe that this could be a great service to the golf course. I think having the restaurant there, we can make money back by being able to cater to the golf tournaments. I've got 9 golf tournaments in a row from May to July, that if we are able to cater to those, we will make that money in that restaurant to be able to keep it open. I put in the capital request for $50,000 to be applied towards the restaurant. I need some windows, I need some wood repair. If we can get things rolling and people embrace it, then I would say, let's fix that ventilation system that is going to be expensive. You know, maybe we add a little bit of equipment to it. But right now, we have painted it, we have cleaned it, we have got our paperwork sent off, and I would like your blessing to use some money out of retail. I've got $119,000 in cash. That does not include all my inventory and golf balls and shirts and everything else, but that would give me some money from cash that can only be spent in retail to help bring some life back to that restaurant. I've been hearing it for almost 3 years. We need a restaurant, we need a restaurant, we need a restaurant. And everything else that's been tried in the past hasn't worked. Nobody's beating down our door wanting to go in there and open it, you know. I think a Fairway Cafe, breakfast and lunch only, 4 days a week is how we start. And I would like y'all's blessing to try to take it and do something better with it. So that's my last thing on capital I'm asking for, and I'm asking that to come from retail.
Any discussion? Ron? Thoughts?
Just want to make sure that we don't overspend.
Right.
We really need to keep it under whatever we say, and if it goes beyond, then you're going to have to come back and say, here's the reasons why.
Right.
And if you can't do that, then the answer is I can't support it.
Absolutely.
Part of her planning has been to keep it simple. It's gonna be breakfast and lunch 4 days a week. It's not black tie, it's not white tablecloth. It's fast, it's a simple. It might not be fast, but it's gonna be simple and easy and well prepared. And the young woman that she's hired is a little dynamo with a whole lot of experience, and as much conversation as we get about, well, I wish there was some place to eat. I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think it's a good idea.
Well, and the mentality is to start slow. It's like Susan was saying, it's not going to be a white tablecloth, but I think that we'll be able to build the clientele as we see what people are looking for. And I 100% feel like us catering the tournaments is where we'll get our money back.
Exactly.
This is a no alcohol location.
Yeah,
So we need to consider that because of the folks who can bring theirs and then leave their coolers.
Yeah, there'll be no alcohol, no
Can't have
license.
alcohol in the building. Joe, your thoughts?
I like the idea, everything she said, and I would just like to see us move forward. Is that that needs to be going. And even 4 days a week is not life or death, but it could be, what if this lady really takes off and goes great with it, and then she could open on the weekends or something, you just never know.
Well, she's even said we can cater over here. She put together a 4-option catering menu that I've already started sending out with my golf contracts. Deposits are coming in for the tournaments. Everybody is embracing the menus and loving it. And she did something as simple as a sack lunch, like $6 a head, all the way to barbecue, ribs, fish at $15 a head. So she's given us a big variety. I think it'll be affordable. We can keep it in-house, and that's where we can make our money back.
She'll probably feed the commissioners on Monday evenings too,
We're
right?
gonna have, we're gonna have some tasting menu days.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, I need a motion to approve the expenditures as Betsy has requested.
I'll make a motion, we do just as written there to move forward with this question.
Second?
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Susan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yay! Sorry about that, Colin. Excited.
Okay, North Course Equipment Hub.
Where are we at?
The equipment.
Okay, so Wayne came in, and Juan, if you don't mind, if you would just hand us down. These are 2 docks. One of those you'll notice is Mr. Harris. He's been trying to get us to approve a dock for him for almost 2 years now. All they're asking for is permission to go from the 32 to the 34 foot. That's all. 32 to 34, that's all they're asking for. But in our rules and regulations, we stated that anything over 32 had to have commissioner approval. So that's 2 separate ones. I'm sorry I didn't get those copies made for everyone to look at them, but it's literally going from 32 foot to 34 foot.
This has been needed for a while in that location anyway, so with the size of his boats, we had needed to give him some leeway to support it, so.
And he's redrawn this whole design to accommodate. But 2 extra feet are going to mean a lot to me. That I think that where those are located, that will not be a diverse for anyone.
As
I didn't see where it would be in the way of some of the other property owners, like we had seen in other places. So that's a key item.
Mr. Harris has two lots, so he's well within his property lines.
But there's nothing there.
yeah, that one's good. Has the other owners, property owners, had a comment on this or anything? Are we fine with it? That's the other thing.
The other, what is that?
Property owners buy it. They're not locking in code or anything.
No, it's not going to block it in any way, but I haven't asked their neighbors about it. I don't normally have to do that.
You could go to where he's gonna put that in, and you could measure 34 or 32, and float one at 34, you would know the difference, 34 or 32. It's just that wide of an area, and it's shallow.
Yeah. It's right before the law, before you get deep into the Los Angeles code, what Mr.
Right.
Harris says. I looked at both of those. I wouldn't have a problem with either one, but that extra 2 foot y'all need to approve.
Yeah, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I'll say.
Second. Motion made by Ron, seconded by Joe. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
That's a key use, okay.
Hey, Betsy,
Yes, sir.
when we were going over capital items, we covered the equipment at the north golf course. Looks like there's money to be spent there.
Let me talk about the equipment. Again, I'm not asking for that this time. Right now, I think we're okay.
We're okay?
Mhm.
Okay. I just,
Building maintenance, if we can find the vehicles, we'll bring it back to you.
okay.
Same thing with the general store until I see some income off the Eclipse, I'm not even gonna talk to you about it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we covered that.
Thanks.
We've got, it's in lot sales. It has come to our attention through quite a few FOIAs that people are dating sales, monies we're refunding and everything. We have spent close to $5,000 in man hours and everything, and lawyer fees, and FOIA requests. So, it has come to our attention that Sid probably ceased selling lots. From here on out, we will be going to the Commission of State Land Sales or to a local realtor. This has cost us a lot of time and money in our office personnel doing these FOIAs. It has cost us, like I said, over $5,000 in lawyer fees. That's your money being spent there. So I would like a motion to suspend lot sales. Motion made by Susan. Is there a second?
I'm going to second that, and I have already talked to people in the office and said, look, please go to the Commissioner of State Lands and review that documentation
Right.
so that you can sleep and repeat it in your sleep, because it is very intricate and it's difficult to work your way through it. The first time after that, it's pretty much a thing that you just basically do for any lot that you would like in Fulton or Sharp County.
And the other thing is, if in the future we go to Commissioner of Land Sales, get it done, Betsy, I'm sure, will help you walk through and get deep all that stuff clear. You're real good with this, she's got real good with it, but well, FOIA requests and everything, attorney fees is just not worth our time now. We thought we were doing something good by selling lots, getting refunds back to the people that they applied for. But it's just become legal hassle for us, and time consuming. I got a motion and a second. Is there, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. No longer in lot sales.
Can I elaborate just a little bit, and I don't want to change your vote, but I just want everyone to understand that, you know, when the lot sales things came around July 1st of last year, our office, there's no one in our office that's a real estate agent. There's nobody that has really been able to, you know, take us by our hand and walk us through this process. It's been a learning process. What we gave out in refunds earlier this year, we were so proud of and thought that, you know, we've done everything right. We dotted our T's and crossed our I's, and, you know, and then we get this back from the attorneys, you know, it should have been this, it should have been that, which generated a second round of refunds. What Dave is talking about is something that we are putting ourselves in a liability on trying to sell these lots and do these refunds and not really knowing what we're doing. I think it makes more sense for us to refer people to real estate agents or to Tommy Land's auctions to purchase these lots than it is for us putting ourselves in a situation that we may be doing something incorrectly or not doing something by the law, because that's not what we're hired and experienced to do. So I just want y'all to know it's not an easy decision. We really wanted to have these refunds and do something good. It's just become something bigger than what we were able to do.
New business, as you all have seen, we got a copy of Chapter 5 of the amenity privileges. What I would like for you to do is review these next month when we bring them up for old business. Any comments that we could appreciate at that time. Betsy, these will be posted on our website.
They will be, once y'all read them, and we next meeting, you're going to approve them, and it'll go into our book of bylaws. Now, there are several things in here, like the golf rules
Right.
and, amenity prices, facility rentals, all things that y'all voted on and talked about. It just wasn't in the form of bylaws. So
Right.
I'm just adding to the book to try to keep it right.
So this should say stuff like working copy, we're not approving this one.
That's a draft. That is just a draft.
Just a draft.
Once you approve it, it'll get posted online with the rest of our bylaws that we started.
Okay, so I need a motion to put this on old business for next month.
Motion to move to next month.
Second, please.
Second.
We'll make a motion, seconded, all those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, Betsy?
Parker and Sutter lawsuit, we are looking into some requests from the legal side on the other side. I don't want to go into too much about it and start a frenzy about something that's not been solved or settled yet. But we are in conversations. That's the docks at Winnebago Circle that has been going on since 2020. Second rounds of refunds went out. I just touched on that a little bit. That was because of some additional funds that should have been included in there. Those checks have gone out, and hopefully anything that's left in that fund will be dispersed at the beginning of this next year. The Eclipse update and questions. I know I posted about our lakes getting no wake. That was something that was voted last month. It's just for the day of the eclipse. It's not for that day moving forward. I'll have a couple of banners that we'll put up at Thunderbird and Omaha this week to kind of get people reminded, and as guests come to visit, they'll know no wake. We have gotten all of our roads, we've gotten our campsites marked and numbered. We are ready as we're going to be down at Base Heart. We put together our plan for what we're going to do at the golf course for any guests there. We've got that in place. The only thing that has come to question in our lake committee meeting and just as a whole is what are we going to do with the people that show up at the lake and want to put their boats in the lake just for the day? Do we want to sail a daily pass? Do we want to do a daily sticker? Do we want to offer something? And that would require having people at the boat ramps, collecting money, making change, or are we just going to open it up and be a free-for-all?
No free.
No free-for-all, I'm with you on that.
I'm not much on sitting out there and selling passes. Whatever you want.
It's for property owners only.
That's my opinion.
For anyone who has a boat sticker,
Yeah.
so then we're going to turn the others away?
Well, now, wait a minute, what are our rules on, so I say move, or they come here to visit from Wyoming and they pull their pontoon, which I don't know if they make Wyoming as a pontoon, but if they did, would we allow them to buy the $50 or whatever it is sticker,
Yes?
guest pass?
Yes?
2 weeks, so I would say, as long as they follow the rules
Right.
and purchase guest passes, they would be able to do that, and they also have to be in compliance with Arkansas Game and Fish as far as registration and all that. So
Okay.
that would be my opinion, that if we're gonna get ourselves in a bunch of hot water, because if they show up, nobody's gonna know where to sit on this. I mean, we're gonna
And it's
set
not going to be
a
open on Saturday and Sunday. We will be open on Monday.
so you're gonna set a kiosk up down there and sell, you see what I'm saying? Get to be a real hot water situation. I would say it has to stay as legal as we are now, and if they can acquire a guest pass, they can load the boat, put it in there.
All right.
But that's just my opinion.
Well, I think that our lake safety is going to be better served at our ramps than it's going to be out there in the middle of the chaos, especially if we're in no wake. And so that's what we'll do.
Yeah, have we heard anything back from the mayor or the chief of police about patrolling with us?
Nope.
Sounds like we need to go to the meeting.
I did meet with them and the sheriff, kind of talk impromptu meeting, at an eclipse emergency meeting a few weeks ago, and I had all three in the same place. We did have a conversation, and it was left that, Cherokee Village, police chief would be checking in with the legal to let them know what we could do, and I haven't heard back from them. It's
Maybe we
been
need to
more than
plug
2
into
minutes.
it real quick.
I'll send them an email.
So we're just gonna basically keep our rules in effect for the eclipse.
All right, sounds good.
And no wait, yeah, that's already out.
So would we just be like nice and just say, well, you know what, we're glad you're here, and the Lake Safety Man has a package of, they can buy a pass for Lake Safety Man that day. Yes, sticker, or just have them come to the office, because there's requirements to register
Right.
what they have and all that, right?
Well, I feel like the people that are renting an Airbnb and would go to the effort of driving their boat, they're gonna check in and get that pass. I think it's gonna be the people that show up the day of and think, oh, how cool it would be to be on the lake during the eclipse. And they're gonna have john boats and whatever else that they're gonna pull up in, and then we're gonna have to figure out how to turn them around and send them away. Yeah, a daily pass to me seems like it would be easier, but
The park.
nothing's gonna be easy if we get the people that they say we're gonna have.
Maybe put some little signs that say, where's when you get to the city office, have a nice day. Well, I mean, I think it would be folly for us to just have a kiosk, and, because we're gonna make people mad no matter what we do. They're not gonna wanna pay $50 for 5 hours, they're not gonna wanna go to the city office, it's a lake, I want on it. I mean, we've all been at the ramps on holiday weekends,
Yeah.
We could also encourage them to go to Hot Springs, just tell them it's only 3 hours. We got lots of lakes there. Just right up the road, it's free parking.
So,
Oh, my.
get some smiley face stickers for the lake safety guard.
What do you think? This is our last meeting before the eclipse, so we
Let's
gotta
keep
make
it the
this.
way we are now. I don't see changing the rules for the
Okay.
eclipse.
Okay.
They
Ron,
gotta buy a guest.
keep it the way it is.
Keep it the way it is makes the most amount of sense because you don't really have a way to really define a plan and test it going forward without taking it in the shorts.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's what we're doing. Next thing on the list is attorney letter for irrigation. I did not receive that. I did ask for it, I did not receive it. I will get that and I can send that out to each one of you independently. I think it'll be pretty set forward. If you look at it and see something you don't like, call me. We're basically going to take that form letter, put on our letterhead, and we will have David as the chair sign them. And we'll send those out to all of our lakefront property owners that the lakes cannot be used for irrigation. If you have the system set up, please remove them. Financials from the new software. Did y'all see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Looks a little different. January's is what I sent out. February's did not come out like I thought it was. If you'll notice on my January's, I have some things circled. Those are some things you'll see corrections in or journal entries for in February. But it's just a whole different format. So I need you to look at that, tell me if you like the way that reads, if we need to change it and do something different. You know, the last one was 18 pages. This consolidates, or it doesn't consolidate, but it separates each of your location by income and then each of your location by expense. This compares to the budget. What it didn't have was a year-to-date column, so when I got to February, I was able to show you a comparison for the second month, and they're working on customizing the report for us to do that.
I don't, just going back for the irrigation, it is, since 1982, right, there was a,
Oh, lake irrigation, yes. There was
Not to
a,
draw water out of the lakes for irrigation.
that's when the policy was written.
The policy was written back in 1982. It has not been enforced, so.
Then we found in 2005, there were some houses found that did have irrigation from the lakes, and there were some letters sent then. That didn't really give us history to see what had happened since then, so we just felt like it was the best thing to do is to say, starting now, this is going to be a rule that we want to enforce, and if we send a letter to each person that says, stop using the lakes for your irrigation, and that gives everybody an opportunity to do something different.
That's just to clarify that. Okay.
All right, so y'all look at those two.
Are you happy with the way this reads? Can you, is it easy?
I didn't understand it, but I've been looking at it for months, trying to get it right. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. I like the comparison to the budget, and I think in February we need a year-to-date column. You know, that's going to tell us how we're going year-to-date. You'll see in January, we went live on the 19th of January, so we had a lot of journal entries to get our stuff to where it was the actual numbers, where I feel like in February, my January assessments come in. You know, I can't post them in January because we get them in February. So that makes us off a little bit. That year-to-date's going to show us where we're at.
Okay.
So I'd like to see that on our February's going forward.
That's exactly what I mean with the new software too, because what we were doing before was just incredibly difficult.
And manual, on that calculator, it's just crazy. So it's working much better, much better. Audit updates. Also, you know, we are due for 22 and 23 audits. In 2021, we hired a company out of Florida because we could find no one to do our forensic audits for our county. There was a company out of Russellville that did them for years and years, and then back in 18, there was a conflict, and they quit doing them. And then when I started in 21, we went back and did 20 and 21 with this McKinsey Forensics out of Miami, Florida. And while searching through the Holiday Island stuff, I found their audits way better, way more informational. The whole way the audit report went was great. So I reached out to Landmark CPAs. They're in Fort Worth, Arkansas, and Fort Smith, Arkansas, and they are going to get back with us on what their pricing is to be able to do our forensic audit. So I sent them the last one from McKinsey. I sent them the one from 18 from that previous company, and all of our year-end financials they've asked for. And so hopefully they will get us back on our regular annual audits that we should do.
Thank you.
That's all I had. All the new stuff that's been on my phone.
Anything you'd like to bring up, Joe?
Yes.
Okay, well, good.
I have struggled to figure out where to do this or how to do it, but I just think it's appropriate to do it just at the table and everybody can agree or make it or whatever. But I want to say that it's all of this paperwork and the number crunching and all that. Betsy is our employee and is paid to do that. But I'm going to tell you right now, and in the things that I sign and the things that I look at in the paperwork, Betsy is phenomenal at her job. And rarely do people get complimented for doing their job. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're doing a bang-up job. I don't care what anybody says. I wouldn't want to sit and do these numbers and crunch and draw myself crazy from this kind of stuff. And in today's world where people just go to work and go home, it's a rare thing to find somebody that goes over and above and puts up with all the headache of everything that's going on, and especially all the FOIA requests and all that. I mean, I'd be Looney Tunes if I had to do it. I'm Looney Tunes anyway, but I'd really be Looney Tunes if I had to do that. I just want to say thank you for doing your job.
And so that really follows with something I was thinking about when I was reviewing, is I think what our office is trying to do and our commissioners as a team was trying to do, is make every Cherokee Village SID experience outstanding. So that when you come to see us or you find us at Walmart, instead of saying, how come you don't have this done? We have a nicer way of saying, listen, can you come by, we'll sit down and take a look at the rules and make it an outstanding solution to the best of our knowledge. And I do appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank y'all very much. I do appreciate that. Goes a long way. Goes a long way.
Anybody else? Okay, now we are open for property owner comments. You have 3 minutes again. Please state your name, where your address is and everything. And from there.
My name's Craig McCoy, and we're new down here. We live at 37 Keosauqua Drive on Lake Omaha. And I would like to know, as a property owner and fisherman, how we can get some of the fishing rules amended so they follow the state. And I'm talking about the bow fishing, the carp or terrible in our lakes. They're an invasive species. They're destroying fish beds of the smaller species, and that's why we have no bass, we have no trout. And that's, you guys have told me that we're going to do a fish count this summer, and that's great. But what's going to happen if the guy that does the fish numbers says you need to remove it? Have you guys planned anything for that?
Not yet. We're waiting for the count to come.
Because if you put on a good bow fishing tournament, you can make a lot of money. A lot of money. And I just want to bring that up as an option. I think that we should amend the bow fishing rule and open it up to anybody that lives on the lake or is a city member. I don't think those that are not city members should come in and fish. But if you're a city member and live on the lake, you should be able to do it. Because it is a state law that says you can't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you please tell me your name, Mr. Craig?
Craig McCoy, last of the real.
Your last name?
McCoy.
McCoy.
On this carp situation, let me, for other people that don't understand, these carp that are in the lakes are grass carp. They were stocked. That's a sterile species of carp that in rare occasions could spawn up and their eggs actually hatch. They are gigantic. I mean, 50, 60 pounds of fish.
I got video of being able to walk across my cove,
Yeah.
touching fish to fish. all the
So,
time.
really, they are, and for all practical purposes of fishing, they do destroy the beds. The beds happen now. They're very active now. So they get up and muddy everything up and kill the eggs and all that. And it's a disaster for a lake because we have too many of them in there. But grass carp is an effective fish as long as it's not much bigger than 24 inches. Once he reaches 24 inches, he's useless. So I have had a wild idea back when I became a commissioner of coming up with a way that we could open that up for maybe a 1-week period of time a year where guys that live here that are property owners that have stickers could go out there and shoot carp and regulate it, put the regulations out. Here's your boat fishing time. It's 1 week. You can get as many carp as you get. You got to clean everything up. You got to take them with you. You can't leave them on the bank. And as soon as that week's over, it's over. That was an idea I had. That would take some work, but I think that's a possibility.
Kind of like the urban deer hunt.
Kind of like an urban deer hunt, except urban carp hunt. I would love to make it happen. I mean, I don't know how we got to put it in for old business or wherever.
We can bring it up new business.
We'll bring it up new business and then I can put it in a situation where we can get voted on. And then we will talk with our manager, our lake manager man that's in charge of things, the spraying guy that can do the shopping, get his opinion on what the proper time to do it. I think it's now until it gets hot. Get rid of it.
My video was in November.
Yeah.
And I couldn't walk across. I mean, it was terrible.
We won't eradicate the carp, but we'll tremendously drop that gigantic population.
raising stock in Bassett County. Now, when it drops the target for the bid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Scott Winters, 55 Monongah Hill. Been here 2 years. Just a few quick comments. I apologize for interrupting earlier when I asked about volunteers for the marshals of the golf course, but I was just wondering if that's something that can be considered. I used to be involved in celebrity golf tournaments, and we used to have all, the locals would volunteer to be marshals, and how the golf course compensated them was for every so many shifts, they got a free round of golf. So I can't remember the exact details, but something to consider or barter. I don't know what insurance liability or is for that arrangement, but food for thought maybe. The other thing I guess I'm interested to understand, I apologize I missed some of the recent meetings because I was out of town, but when we acquired our property, there was an irrigation system in place, and it involved a pump option for the lake. Well, my ignorance in the whole thing is I had the inspector check, and he said, yes, the system complies with the state of Arkansas requirements for water, and since that you're not going over, I forget how many feet up shore, it's drainage back in, and the only thing you have to worry about is erosion on your property. And I wasn't really excited about hooking up a pump and all that, so I had the electricity and the water, so I did not do it. So full disclosure, I'm not sucking water out. But in the legal paralysis of this whole thing, and I'm anxious to know from 82 that there is some legal decision or something that made that Sid actually owns the water, surface water rights to be able to dictate extraction. And I'm saying that because that'd be helpful in the letter from the attorney to say, okay, this is the case law that somehow Sid can own surface water property that other associations can. And it would be really helpful, I think, again, to protect us in issuing that letter. No, I'm not jockeying to start cycling water. But I do have a water effect. They spent $20,000 for this elaborate waterfall effect that also pumps water. And again, I have not bothered to do that because I don't want to stand and watch the waterfall effect. But that's another aspect, I guess, that I would throw out there is that if I was going to sell my property at some point, I do have another pump that's, again, complies with state law that's used for water effects. That is a part of our the lot, adjacent lot that we own. And that would be important for me to understand. Maybe later on with Betsy to find out, hey, do I have an asset that I'm not going to be able to utilize or sell in the future as what it is? Enough of my time. But thank you for hearing that.
What this comes down to is, we've seen how fast Thunderbird drops in the summer. We are aware of 32 people that have irrigation systems drawing water out of the lake. And we've seen how fast it drops in the summer. I'm not blaming it on the irrigation system, but it does not help. We know it evaporates because it's not a spring-fed lake. So it just gets from the runoff from rains. And our attorneys hopefully have addressed this in the letter. We have not seen the letter.
Yeah, my pump location, according to state law, can only be so far out and so deep. So and I'm on Alva Lake, so in reality for me anyways, it would, to be legal statewide, when the lake drops a foot, I'll be sucking in sand or something, So again, don't arrest me, I'm not doing it, but I think it's important from for legal standpoint that we have that backing that proves that we actually own that surface water to claim. And of course that, there's other issues beyond that. Anyways, thank you for your time.
Just tall people. Jimmy White, number one homosexual circle. I was wondering, Karen left, she was instrumental with the Trails Committee. If it's inactive, the Trails Committee is inactive right now. And I think we're missing an opportunity because we have such a wonderful place here with all these roads that would be wonderful bike roads, trail bikes, the trails like Silvermore. I wondered if there has been a feasibility study for all the area that we have. That all we have to do is sit down and see that it can be connected. A lot of people ride bikes. I ask a lot of people, and they say, well, yeah, I do, but don't get involved or something. I just wondered if we ever had a feasibility study for us having bike trails. And not just trails, but I would like to volunteer now for anything having to do with fish. I'll volunteer. And restaurant. So, I just wondered if we had anything to do with the other trails right
I can reply to that if you want. Karen and Roy Eccles, there you go, thank you. And another gentleman, and Jimmy, we had all gone down, I believe it was last year in the spring or the fall, and looked at the lower campground, and they went through and marked some areas that would have been good trails. Of course, since then, we've cleared the bottom area of the campground to get ready for the eclipse and to bring our camping back. And Mr. Eccles and the other gentleman went back in the last 90 days and re-walked that area and just said that they felt like that at this time they needed to look for another location that was going to give more of a trail through the woods than where we cleared out down there around the water. We talked about bike trails. We talked about all of these roads, especially in Fulton County, that are uninhabited, have no lights, have no houses on them, and that maybe going through and identifying some kind of set trail would be something cool that could be done, that it would take very little money. It would only take someone's time and pulling a map up and marking it. So maybe, Jimmy, that's something that you and I could get together on, and somewhere out there around the Omaha Center, we could try to put something together and mark something and see if it takes off. It would only take effort. It really wouldn't take money.
I'd be willing to go to other places like Silvermore, ones outside of Little Rock.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To see kind of how they fashion it and Memphis.
Okay, sounds good. I'd be glad to work on that with you.
I talked to Roy too.
Yeah, after the eclipse. Just let me get through the 9th of April and then I'll be glad to have something good. Thank you.
Russ Stokes, Modoc Circle. On your trail issue, you might go down to City Hall and obtain the telephone number for Roy Eccles and call him and find out what's going on with the trails.
Yeah, I met Roy the other day.
Okay, and he would be helpful. Your efforts to enforce the no pumping rule out of the lake are commendable. I believe you said that rule was passed in 1982, and it wasn't enforced. And having come down here since '72, visiting, one of the reasons it wasn't enforced was because one of the SID commissioners was a guilty party, continued to pump out of the lake. And I think we're all aware, if you're going to get people to change their behavior, do things that are appropriately, you have to get them to abide by the rules and enforce the rules. Same way on the golf course, ma'am, as you're talking about the problem with the people not repairing their divots on the green or parking their carts where they shouldn't be. As an avid golfer and having played down here, that wasn't a problem for a while. But I moved here in '97, and shortly after, that continued to be a problem. And I'll go back again to what my other remarks. There was a marshal at the South Golf Course, and that marshal tried to enforce the rules about appropriate behavior on the course, but got no backing from the commissioners. So that's where the ball is kind of in your park. If you want to get people to do what they need to do, and it's not gotten any better, I can tell you that. It's even showing up over here at the North Golf Course. Ball marks on the green, and people driving where they should be. And the group that I play with, we got some parties that do that. In fact, I mentioned to one of the members, I said, we need to set a better example, because if they see locals doing it, as visitors come in, they say, that's okay for me to put my golf cart up there and just kind of leave it as it is. And so it's, gentlemen asking to be a volunteer marshal, more power to you on that. But if you're going to do that, you guys need to step up to the plate and crack the whip. If they report somebody as a constant violator, that's the only way to get that to happen. They're not going to like it. I've been on the golf courses where people's behavior is inappropriate. Marshal came around and said, you're done. Take your card and go in. Now, that's not a private course like we have here. That's a public course. And the same way on a private country club, they'll do that too. They'll remember, tell them, you're done for golf. Your golfing privilege are suspended for the next month or whatever. But anyway, I appreciate what you're trying to do with that lake issue. I mean, that's been an issue. People, some of them pulled their pumps, others felt like they were entitled to keep their pump in the lake. So, good luck.
Thanks,
Hey, how y'all doing? Dan Milligan, 52K Cherokee, talking about the Special Planning Committee again. So I've been involved with boards where there's a hierarchy, where there's a board, and we establish committees below us. And the way we've done it in the past is we specifically refer to our bylaws for how to set the committee. So it seems right now that there's kind of a few different visions out there. I read Mr. Reed's letter that he originally wrote to Betsy and the commissioners. And his vision was more about, trying to make an educated guess about what the income from assessments is going to be over the next 15 years. And it sounds like some vision from commissioners and Betsy is more about how do we spend the money we have now. And I don't think it's necessarily your job right now to determine the vision of that committee or even appoint a committee chair. It's simply just to refer back to the bylaws for the process for establishing a committee. And there's precedents. We have a golf committee, we have a lake committee, we have a trails committee apparently. So there's a precedent for how these committees have been established under the state hierarchy in the past. So let's just kind of, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves for where this commission is going and what it's going to be. That vision doesn't necessarily have to be determined initially. We just go back to the bylaws, and I haven't read them myself. But we go back to the state bylaws for how do we establish committees, how do we establish subcommittees, and let's just follow those procedures. And I did sense some hesitancy from commissioners about being involved with this committee. And the way that the boards and the committees that I've been part of and am part of is it's not necessarily a city commissioner that would be the committee chair. They're just that liaison so that there's transparency, so that there's no distrust, there's no hiding of information, there's just complete transparency between the commission and the overseeing the board. So in terms of like an order of operations, I think we don't need to worry about picking which one of you is going to be the committee chair, because you might not even be the committee chair. I don't know. I've never read the city bylaws, so I don't know what the rules are. But the boards I've been a part of is that the overarching board or commission was not a committee chair person. They were just there just to provide information. It's just information. Because the committee can't do anything. The committee can't make policy. It's just there to make recommendations to the commissioners to enact policy. And so I think just kind of, it looks like we're getting a little too far ahead of ourselves trying to determine what we want to do and who's going to run it. It doesn't need to be that. And I remember seeing like a social media post, it might have been about a year ago. It was about the golf committee. And there was just a Facebook post that said, hey, if you're interested in joining the golf committee, there's going to be a meeting at 2 p.m. at the North Golf Course Center. Come sign up if you want to be a committee member. And I think that needs to be the only initial step taken, is just try to find those group of people, but make sure it's a public announcement. You know, don't make sure it's just not a communication between parents, but just let the public know that Sid is interested in forming this committee and volunteers should come. And then it's in those actual committee meetings that the chair is determined and the vision of the committee is determined. Because again, they're not making any policy, it's just information, they're just making recommendations to the Sid Commission for enacting policy. Those are my comments.
Right now, we're just getting the exploratory part of it. Once we figure out what we're going to do and everything, then it will be turned over to the committee. We're just in the exploratory phases right now. So,
And you know, sadly, Dan, we do not have the bylaws that talks about committees and subcommittees. You know, in the past, they didn't allow volunteers, they discouraged other input. I think that, you know, when the settlement case came in and your commissioners are now elected, that really changed the game, because before it was 3 commissioners who did and set things how they wanted them to done. So I haven't found bylaws on how to set up.
So how are the lake committees and golf committees run? Is there a commissioner that's the chair of those committees? How do
No, so what happened is when I started working here, I was met by hundreds of people that said, you know, we've never been able to get to the general manager. We've never been able to share our ideas. We've never been able to volunteer and help. And so I set those committees up just for volunteers. We put a motto together that talks about what those committees do. And they volunteer and assist in two golf tournaments a year. You know, they help us get sponsors, they help us plan, they help us the day of, but they're not really committees that were set up like you would have city council committees or subcommittees of city council. It was just an opportunity, if you had a passion about something, then join together with a group of other people that have that same passion and help me get things done. And that's what those committees came together from.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
any more comments?
I just have a real quick one. One thing I found very helpful when I went to the SID office was that they have a paper where you can sign your name and your email address, and then you get sent out the minutes. And maybe more people could be made aware of that, because I just found that out a few days ago. So maybe, you know, it would help for more people to know about that, because as soon as I saw the minutes to the meeting, it made me very interested to come and participate a little bit and learn about what's going on. But that is just a thought.
Thank you. The mass email was actually something that was helped by one of our property owners to help us kind of learn how to do that. And I want to say we've almost 500 people on that mass email now, so it does continue to grow. I'll see if I can post something and get more people involved that want to be involved in that.
Any more comments? Any last thoughts? Joe? Susan? Ron?
I'm just really excited because of the respect and the admiration that we have for you, the property owners, from the general manager and every employee and all the commissioners. We just really appreciate you.
Okay, with that, I need a motion to adjourn. Oh, yeah, we need an executive session?
I'm okay.
Oh, thank you.